It definitely seems like the Bud Light boycott, the Budweiser boycott is getting to Anheuser-Busch. A lot of people are pointing to the stock chart saying, oh, it's actually not that bad. It's not that far off of the 52-week high that it was at previous to Dylan Mulvaney. But it's really not that worth it to look at the stock chart right now. You have to think about what's going to happen in the future. We've seen tons and tons of videos of gas stations, of corner stores, grocery stores, bars, all of these places having absolutely zero sales in Bud Light. I had somebody come in my live stream yesterday and talk about how he works at a bar and 70% of their inventory for Bud Light specifically is still there. It's not sold. And it's obviously most of the time they sell way more than just 30% of their Bud Light inventory. So it's looking really bad for that, and they're not going to feel that. Anheuser-Busch isn't going to feel that heat until it's time for these bars, these corner stores, these grocery stores to restock on Bud Light. And then once they don't put in their restock orders, that's when the stock is going to actually drop. So a lot of people are saying, oh, look, they recovered already. This boycott was a bunch of BS. It's just not true. And for one, they didn't recover. They didn't get back to that 52-week high that they were at previously. And for two, it just doesn't really matter if they are or not, because they're not going to really feel the heat until the quarterly meetings and things like that, and whenever these companies don't end up restocking. But we also have some other really, really strange developments with the whole Anheuser-Busch situation. Brendan Whitworth, who is the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, actually deleted his LinkedIn account, and as well as the VP of marketing deleted her LinkedIn account as well. Here is Benny Johnson. He tweeted out, hey guys, I think I found the problem. The CEO of Budweiser is a CIA operative. No, really. And here is Brendan Whitworth's LinkedIn right here. As you can see, CEO of Anheuser-Busch. And then we go over to the next picture, and you can see right here, Central Intelligence Agency, 2001 to 2006. And Benny Johnson said, and I also agree with this as well, once you're in the CIA, there is no getting out. Like, you cannot work for them officially anymore, but once you're in there, you're never really out of there. You know, you're always a part of the CIA until the day that you die. And he said, please see for yourself. And if you actually click on this link, it seems like his LinkedIn account is still back up. Now, the VP of marketing's account, that's still not there. You know, that I don't think that's ever going to come back based on the type of person that you could gather that she is from those videos that she put out. And, you know, I don't think that's ever coming back, man. I think that she's really scared. I think that she can't handle any sort of backlash, any person telling her no, anybody telling her that she was wrong. She can't handle any of that. So she's never going to bring her LinkedIn back up. Now, Brendan Whitworth, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, did 100% delete his LinkedIn account. If you watch this video from Benny Johnson, this was on April 15th, Budweiser CEO Brendan Whitworth just deleted his account when exposed as a CIA agent. And he definitely did delete his LinkedIn account. There's still some really weird things happening with the LinkedIn account where you can only access Brendan Whitworth, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch's LinkedIn, if you go through certain methods. Like, it's really strange. If I was trying to search on LinkedIn for the account, I couldn't find it sometimes. But if I went through Google search, it was a lot easier to find it, but it was way down in the rankings. Like, it wasn't even close to the top. Whereas when I searched for the VP of marketing, Alyssa, you know, I can't say her last name. I don't know how to say it. Alyssa, if I search for hers on Google, it was at the very top. But when I click on it, I just get to this page here. A lot of people were absolutely roasting Anheuser-Busch in the replies here to Benny Johnson's tweet. Deep State beer, you literally can't make this shit up. Why am I not surprised? I'm not saying I told you so, but I told you so. Everybody just expects things like this nowadays. And it's crazy because back in the day, if you were to tell me that Anheuser-Busch would have a CIA operative as their CEO and that they would be putting people like Dylan Mulvaney as the face of Bud Light and things like that, man, I think everybody would look at you like you're absolutely insane. That you would have a man dressing up as a woman, like he told somebody that 10 years ago, would be on a Bud Light can. Everybody will look at you like you're insane. You know, it really is just insanity, the world that we live in today. And obviously they had this put out. I'm sure that the Budweiser CEO or the Anheuser-Busch CEO called the shot to put this out there, this horrible ad with all the fake patriotism. We saw him, that, you know, Brendan Whitworth himself, the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, came out and gave that statement where he was talking about the patriotism, how patriotic he is and shit like that, man, talking about he's so grateful that he served this country. He's so proud that he served this country. That was in the CIA. And a lot of people were coming after me because I was saying, you know, it doesn't count if you're in the CIA. It doesn't count as serving our country. Dude, the CIA has done some very, very bad things, right? And I personally respect people who serve and have served in the past as much as anyone does. I really, really do. You know, I thank those people all the time. But when it comes to the CIA, man, I got to see proof of what you've done within the CIA for the country. I have to see proof. And then I will tell you thank you, because I've seen way too many bad things come out of there. Just way too many. I'm not obviously going to go into them in this video, but you can just do a quick little Google search and find out some of the bad things the CIA does or has done in the past, and you will understand where I'm coming from on that. I just think it's a bunch of BS that he was coming out and trying to push this patriotism and things like that right after they have Dylan Mulvaney be the new face of Bud Light. Like, dude, it's very obvious what he was trying to do. It's very obvious he was trying to recapture the audience that was completely lost by the entire Dylan Mulvaney situation. And then they put this ad out, this Budweiser ad with the Clydesdales and everything, talking about this is the American spirit and all this other just really cringe BS, and nobody bought it. Not a single person bought it. I mean, it got ratioed like absolutely crazy. 1,900 retweets and 2,400 quote tweets. So it got ratioed pretty badly, and we can look at some of the replies here. 7 billion is not nearly enough. Conservatives must keep their boots on these woke companies. Sorry, the ship has already sailed. You should have supported the hardworking middle class that once were proud to kick back after a long day of work. Fire the woman that decided this was a good idea, and I give them a chance. That also could be a possibility for why the VP of marketing for Anheuser-Busch, or maybe it was just Bud Light, deleted their LinkedIn, because maybe they might be getting fired soon. It's very possible that they could be getting fired soon. If I was the CEO of Anheuser-Busch, if I was running Bud Light and running the marketing for Bud Light, I'd get her up out of there, because that was a absolutely horrible decision. I don't know if it was incompetence. I don't know if it was a person trying to push an agenda, but I don't care what the option was, what the correct choice was for that. I think that she just needs to get out of there. Like, she's going to run the company into the ground. If she makes even one more decision like that, it will be the absolute nail in the coffin. She might have already done it. They might already be done. Let me know in the comments if you think that Budweiser, that Anheuser-Busch could possibly recover from this. Personally, I don't see it happening, at least the Bud Light part of them. Maybe the other brands, maybe the other beer brands that they have under the Anheuser-Busch name, maybe they could recover. But in terms of Bud Light, man, nobody's going to be seen. Nobody's going to be caught dead drinking Bud Light. It's just not going to happen. You get made fun of too much. Ben Shapiro tweeted this out, and I agree with this 100%. Those who are calling off the dogs with regard to Bud Light are generally part of the Republican donor class who disproportionately fall into the category of socially liberal and fiscally conservative. They are unrepresentative of the base or the middle of the country. Those who rely on organizations like the NRCC or the RNC for moral leadership are making a category error. These organizations exist to agitate money and spend it. Those who write the checks call the shots. That includes Anheuser-Busch, obviously. The same is true of politicians. This is not your moral leaders or exemplars. They do the bidding of their voters, so exercise your leverage as a voter and a consumer. It's the only effective method of change. I agree with him 100%, man. Like, this stuff you can't call off the dogs at this point. And this was back on April 17th, so a couple of days ago. But you can't call off the dogs at this point, man. This was back when the stock was down a lot. You know, Anheuser-Busch was obviously very hurting. Bud Light was obviously very hurting. And a lot of people were saying, all right, guys, you know, we did it. We beat Bud Light. We made our point. But in my opinion, the point can't possibly be made. Like, the point can be made, but it can't be made enough to where we call off the dogs, to where we say, all right, guys, we can start buying Bud Light again. Like, no, that's not going to happen. I think that Bud Light, that Anheuser-Busch needs to be made an example out of. We need to show all these other companies, not just beer companies, not just beer brands, just corporations in general, that if you platform people like Dylan Mulvaney, this same thing is going to happen or could possibly happen to you. And the threat of that happening could deter quite a bit of them. I think it actually would do a very good job at deterring them from doing similar things in the future. So let me know what you guys think about the CEO of Anheuser-Busch and the VP of marketing for Bud Light deleting their accounts, deleting everything. Seems like the CEO of Anheuser-Busch might be back, but I'm not really sure what's happening with that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the entire situation.